Hey friends, welcome back to another speed build. Today's build is inspired by a 1800s home from Virginia. Kind of random, but I saw it on Facebook. I know, Facebook, gross, ew. But I thought it was kind of cool and I thought I would recreate it. I've been trying to think of a new series that I can do, kind of alongside the Sims 2 one that I'm doing. So I think I might try to kind of rebuild all of all of the lots throughout all of the different worlds. So originally this was going to be part of that, but I don't know. I kind of I kind of messed up and I demolished the house that was on this lot to build this. Because I think what I'm going to do is remodel existing lots and then try to fill up all the other empty ones. So I did not do that. So this is just going to be a little bonus speed build, I guess. But yeah, I think it turned out pretty interesting. It ends up just being base game plus laundry day. So even if you don't have laundry, everything will work fine in it. There's just one small laundry room that I did that has those items in it. So if you don't have that and you download it, that's the only thing that'll be different or missing. So yeah, I think that'll work out pretty nicely. And the original version of this house actually has like a big addition on the back, which I didn't include here since the lot was too small really. And I wanted to do something smaller anyway. So it ends up being more of a, I don't know, kind of like a colonial, I guess, like a small colonial style house. And yeah, I think it turns out nice. It has 2 bedrooms, and then the first floor has like a full separate living room, separate dining, and separate kitchen. So pretty good size house. I was originally going to make this just a starter until I realized that after I'd done the first floor that I was already at like 30-some thousand simoleons and I hadn't even done the second floor. So that was a little disappointing, but yeah, it's, obviously fully furnished, and, ready for you to move in a sim who has like 70,000 simoleons, I think it ends up being, which is, a lot more than I was expecting, but yeah. And the furnishing options from the base game actually worked out pretty well for this sort of kind of almost historic sort of style that I was going for. And I start with these really orange floors, but I do change them a little bit later on. I kind of liked them, but they were feeling a bit much, so I made them a little bit more natural looking later on. But yeah, so here, these small rooms, one will be a bathroom and the one on the right will be the laundry room. So very small space if you don't end up having, if you don't have laundry day. And I think a car just backfired outside my window, so sorry if you heard that. At least that's what I'm hoping it was, because that was not great. Anyway, back in the build here. Yeah, obviously all base game, just trying to figure out different items to use, trying to use as many different things as possible since obviously not a ton of options in the base game. The base game desperately needs more paintings and pictures and curtains. I am sick to death of the ones that are in there. It's probably the only reason I don't do a ton of base game builds is just because I used every item a million times. But I think maybe if I paired it with like 1 or 2 other packs, I could probably stomach it. But yeah, so when I'm first building this, I'm still under the delusion that this is going to be a starter home. I'm not really sure why I thought, fireplaces and all of these rooms would, work out okay for a starter. But yeah, here we are. So, and I feel like everything in the base game is either like really expensive, like all the windows and doors are like very expensive, so it's even more difficult to create starter homes. So yeah, I ended up using this very expensive couch and chair, and then I was surprised that it was expensive. So yeah, and other than the kind of large addition that was on the original house, I think the layout of this ends up being pretty accurate. That's always kind of tough with trying to recreate things in The Sims since the scaling's, obviously different. But yeah, I think, I think that ended up working out pretty well. I feel like the upstairs might have more, either like an extra bedroom or the bathroom is in a different place. But the downstairs I think is pretty accurate. They had this little like sunroom thing off of the living room that I turned into a small office, and I think that was a good use of that space. I think it would also work really well as like a art studio or some other kind of skill building room. But yeah, I thought putting a desk in there would work well. I will say I did not playtest this house, so if anything doesn't work, I apologize. But I tried to leave plenty of space around things. I didn't clutter it too much, mostly because there just isn't a lot of options in the base game for that. And yeah, here's kind of when I realized that this was not going to be a starter, so I'm just kind of filling up, adding more items to all the different rooms. And yeah, I tried to use, I was kind of debating on what curtains to use. So I start with these ones first, then I move to the ones where it's kind of like, where they're kind of pulled to the side. And I thought I was going to stick with those, but it wasn't really fitting the vibe that I was going for and this sort of more historic home. So yeah, I think these are the ones that I settled on and just used those downstairs, and I think those worked out fairly well. I will say the living room is probably maybe the least, well, maybe not the least furnished, that's not really accurate, but it doesn't have a TV. But I did put in some other items later on. And yeah, now I'm kind of struggling with the windows on this sunroom, because the original version had these nice shuttered windows. But I didn't realize that the ones that I was using in the base game, they were basically overlapping. So didn't love that. And then I was going to put all these curtains in here and then realized that it's ridiculous and way too many. So I don't think I ended up putting any curtains in there. So it's just kind of like a sunroom. Usually you don't have a ton of curtains in a room like that anyway. So I think that worked out fine. But yeah, no, I'm just kind of trying to figure out more things to add. Got the, had to have that chess table in there. So that is in the hallway down here. And then, yeah, I put in the easel and I'll put in a guitar. So plenty of skill building items in the house. I wanted to make sure that, if I was going to spend a bunch of money on this, that there was plenty to do. And yeah, just kind of filling out the rest of the kitchen. Originally I was going to try to keep it just like a galley kitchen, and then you could, expand later on. But I'm just going to do that for you. So you're welcome. And you'll have to make sure to stay till the end for the screenshots, because I do show some of the images from the original, like in real life house, and kind of compare it to what this version looks like. And I think at least for the main floor, I don't know if I did any of the bedrooms. I don't think I did, because I didn't really do those the same. But yeah, the first floor, a lot of the rooms actually look pretty similar. It's kind of crazy, except for maybe the colors. I did use brighter colors for most of it. So, but yeah, you'll have to stick around for those. I think that will be kind of interesting for you. And yeah, just kind of trying to figure out some more wall art to use that I haven't used a million times. So yeah, and I ended up using a different flooring at first upstairs. I will change that a little bit, and then once I figured that out, then I changed the ones downstairs. So they all end up being kind of the same, and I think that works out pretty well. And the original house did have these dual fireplaces and chimneys on the side of the house. I really wish that the fireplaces acted like the fireplaces in The Sims 2. I don't know if The Sims 3 did it, but basically when you would put the fireplace on the wall, it would create a chimney for you, like all the way to the roof. And that was really nice. That was like, they were just a lot more realistic looking that way. So it'd be really nice if they brought that back, maybe in the Sims 5 or Project Renee or whatever it's gonna be. Because I don't know, 2 tiles wide feels like too much when I do that, but then 1 tile isn't enough. So it'd be really nice to have something in between for that. And here in the bathroom, it's kind of the main bathroom for the house. The downstairs bathroom is just a powder room, just the toilet and sink. So did a bathtub and a shower up here, just in case you have toddlers, or if you have cats and dogs and you want to have a dog or whatever, you can you have a space to bathe them. Plus a clawfoot tub would make sense in a kind of historic house like this. And yeah, it feels weird to me to put wood flooring in a bathroom, but you know, that was a little bit more historically accurate. I don't think I've ever lived in a house with wood floors in the bathroom. It's always been some sort of tile or linoleum. So yeah, kind of interesting. You'll have to let me know if you've ever lived in a house with wood floors in the bathroom. That feels kind of weird to me. I don't know why. Something about like the water and the wood maybe. But anyway, here I am in the main bedroom, kind of the parents' room. And I was struggling a little bit at first because it was feeling like a lot of different patterns and colors. So I ended up going a little bit more neutral with that, and I think that looks a bit better in here. And then just trying to figure out, you know, different furniture to use. Ended up using fairly expensive furniture again. Just since, like, I don't know, the styles in the base game are kind of weird. It's either like this sort of antique looking furniture, or it's like the mission style, which wouldn't really fit in that well with this house. So yeah, I ended up going with the more expensive furniture, and I think that, you know, it just looks better in this sort of build. And I'm really excited for the next build that's coming out. It's part of my Sims 2 rebuilding series that I'm doing, and it's the Greenman family's house from the Sims 2 Seasons in River Blossom Hills is the world that came with that expansion pack. And their house is basically a giant greenhouse, and the one of the I guess wife, mother sim is a plant sim in that game. And her husband is like just a regular sim, I guess. And then she has a daughter that was like with a different partner before. But yeah, their house, giant greenhouse, really, I don't know. I had a lot of fun building it. It took forever, but really enjoyed recreating that one and kind of putting my own spin on it. Because usually with those, I'll usually try to start with the original floor plan and kind of make changes. So it makes sense with The Sims 4, but yeah, you'll have to keep an eye out for that. I'm very excited to share that one. And yeah, now I'm in the kids' room. I did this as maybe like a 2-child room with the bunk beds, you know, or it could just be for like when they have friends over. But yeah, I kind of went in this like very blue and purple color scheme. I thought that would be kind of fun for this. And you know, times are tough when I have to use the tragic clown painting in this child's bedroom because there just aren't a lot of options. So I thought that was kind of funny. I don't know. Kind of maybe they're just, you know, kind of a weird, quirky kid and they like sad clown paintings. You know, just totally normal kid things. Yeah, so here in the landing hallway area, just did a simple seating area with a bookshelf, and I used the Lindsay speaker, just kind of add something else, and I put a future cube on there, just kind of fill up that space a little bit more. And yeah, just a nice little area to read a book, brush up on your handiness skills and cooking and all that good stuff. And yeah, if you have any thoughts on this kind of rebuilding the worlds series that I'm going to start, please let me know. I really want to do a wide variety of lots and builds and things. So I might do, you know, where I convert residential into some sort of community lot, or vice versa. I think that would be really interesting. Now that we have, you know, buildable apartments, I'd like to put some of those, especially in some of the older worlds. But yeah, I think I'll probably start with Willow Creek, just since that's, you know, it feels like the right place to start something like this. But I don't think I want to go in order of like when the worlds came out and like the different packs. So I'll probably switch it up a bit. But yeah, you'll have to let me know if you have any thoughts, if there's anything you want to see built, or, you know, if you have any ideas, please let me know. I would love to hear that. And yeah, now I am just doing the exterior of the build. I decided to do just a small little, I don't even know if you could call it a porch on the back there. And I just kind of made it so it's like part of the foundation. I thought that was maybe a little bit more interesting than doing like a deck or whatever that I did on the front. And yeah, I added a grill back there, and then here in the front, I just did a little seating area. And then I'll put in some flower planter or some, you know, garden planters up there in a minute. But yeah, just trying to pull out some different things to put around the outside of the build. I always forget that that bird bath exists, so thought that would be kind of nice to add. And every time that I watch these builds back when I'm doing his voiceovers, I always think of about, 18 different things that I could have done differently. And, since I was originally going to do this as a starter, I didn't think I would do anything for the third floor. Those were just going to be decorative dormers. But yeah, it would be kind of nice to maybe expand that and actually create some usable space up there. I don't know, it wouldn't be very wide, but, you can maybe do something with it if you'd like. I think that would be kind of interesting. Put just like a ladder up there, even just for storage. You could put like the decorations box up there if you have seasons and all of that. But yeah, so just kind of doing the landscaping now. Pretty simple as well. And I think I mostly use debug. I don't know. I kind of like the swatches. Well, I guess some of them don't really have swatches, but the coloring of a lot of the debug items I find are a little bit nicer. Like it's a little bit darker green, a little bit more realistic, I guess. So I end up using that a lot, not even just because it's free, but just because it looks a little bit nicer. I really wish they would either add those swatches to the regular items or they would just put those items in the catalog. Kind of annoying that they're like just not available, even though most of them are like, I don't know, like they seem to be high resolution enough to use in the game normally, but I don't know. I'm not a game developer, so I'm not really sure how those work, but yeah, a little annoying. And here in the parents' bedroom, I kind of regret doing this, but I added this other window because it looked nicer on the outside, but it really messed up what I did on the inside, and I had to use a different bookshelf. And I don't know if it was really worth it. I mean, it looks sort of nicer on the outside, I guess, but yeah, maybe I wouldn't do that again if I was doing this again, but yeah. And now I'm just finishing up by doing the lighting. The outside is fairly simple. I really use those one base game lights like all the time, even in full pack builds. I don't know, they just give off like a good amount of light, which is always a struggle for some reason with a lot of the lighting in the game, especially the older items. I really wish they'd go back and like recalibrate those or whatever to make them brighter, but here we are. And I would have used more wall lights too, but they just weren't very bright. So I ended up using these other ceiling lights that I think would be a little bit, they're a little bit older style, fit in a little bit better. So that's kind of the route that I went with those. And that will just about wrap things up. I want to say thank you for watching. I know there's a million things you could be doing, so I really appreciate you taking the time to watch today. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. That helps a lot. And subscribe if you'd like to see more. Thank you so much. Have a great day.